How is everyone doing? Welcome to the second episode. Today, I have a story that involves an incident with a doctor and events that took place in a hospital. After hearing the story, I was quite scared, so I chose this incident to share in today's episode. There's no need to believe every part of the story is fact, but it can certainly be entertaining to listen to. The person who told me the story wishes to remain anonymous, so I will keep both his name and the name of the hospital confidential. This story is from about 8 years ago. On the day the incident occurred, he was on night duty. As a newly practicing doctor, he spent most of his time in the hospital. That day, there was no pressure from any specific patients. In fact, there were hardly any patients at all, and the hospital was completely empty. He told the nurses that he was going to stay in the hostel since it was right next to the hospital. If any emergency arose or if any patient came in, they could call him, and he would come back. The easiest route to the hospital's hostel was to go up to the second floor, walk a bit, and then turn left down the stairs to reach the hostel. He went straight up the stairs to the second floor, and as he walked along, he noticed it was completely empty. There were no patients, and he was walking alone. Suddenly, he saw a person sitting on the floor, with his face buried in his knees, crying. Hearing the doctor's footsteps, the man suddenly looked up at him. The doctor asked, "What's wrong? Why are you sitting here?" The man replied, "Doctor, I need to save my patient. I brought him to the hospital a long time ago, but there's no doctor available. A woman in a burqa is sitting there, and 2 children are playing down below." The doctor asked them what they were doing there. The woman, crying, told him, "Doctor, this patient died an hour ago and is now under observation. He will be discharged from the hospital soon." The doctor pulled back the sheet covering the dead body, and as he looked, the ground seemed to disappear from beneath his feet. It was the same man he had just spoken to. He became silent for a moment, unable to say anything, and without a word, he quickly left through the door and continued walking straight. Until then, the events had been quite ordinary. However, the real incident began here. That night, the doctor couldn't sleep. He didn't talk to anyone when he got home and sat quietly for a long time, smoking one cigarette after another, pondering what had happened. Days passed, and the doctor had almost forgotten about the incident, not giving it much importance anymore. He rationalized that such things could happen while working in a hospital since doctors often witness miraculous phenomena that become habitual for them. A second incident involved him. About 15 days later, one day there was a heavy crowd at the hospital, and he had to work 2 shifts. The outdoor area was so crowded that it took almost 5 to 10 minutes to get outside. There were so many people. The doctor was pushing through the crowd, and suddenly a man came up to him and said, "Doctor, about that day when I asked for your help, you didn't assist me. Please help me today." Upon hearing those words, the doctor froze. It was the same man who he had taken to the ICU, the same one he had seen the day before pulling back the sheet. The doctor pushed his way through the crowd and ran away without saying anything. He sat quietly in the canteen for a long while, drinking multiple cups of coffee, wondering what was happening to him. Later that night, while taking a taxi home from the hospital, he gave the taxi driver a $1 bill. At that moment, the taxi driver turned around and said, "Doctor, now I have to help you." As soon as he heard this, the doctor looked at the driver and froze again. It was the same man he kept encountering. He was unable to comprehend what was happening to him and felt he was losing his mental balance. Just then, the man returned the $1 bill and drove away with the taxi. In a panic, the doctor rushed to a friend's house and asked for a cup of coffee. While sitting there, he pulled out the $1 bill that the taxi driver had returned to him, unfolded it, and saw it had an address of a village written on it. At that moment, he realized that the man trying to contact him repeatedly did not want to harm him. He wanted to convey some message. The doctor asked his friend about the address, and the friend said it was not far, about 30 kilometers from there. The next morning, the doctor woke up and set off for that village. When he arrived at the address, he found the same woman he had seen in the hospital, along with her 2 young children playing in the mud. As soon as the woman saw him, she said, "Doctor, please sit here." The doctor replied, No, it's okay. Are you all doing all right? Who was the person that died that day?" In response, the woman told him, "He was my husband." The doctor then asked the woman what had happened to her husband. She explained, "My husband drank a lot. He suddenly had a heart attack. After several attempts to save him at the hospital, the doctors unfortunately declared him dead." The doctor asked, "What did your husband do?" The woman replied, "He was a taxi driver." "Why do you ask?" The doctor said nothing more. The woman then shared her sorrow with him about how her husband had left her and how she was struggling to feed her children, not knowing how she would get through the coming days. The doctor said, "All right, I'll see what I can do and will come back another day." He then left. Now, the doctor understood why the man's spirit kept asking for help. I do not know how much of this story is true and how much is fiction, but I found the incident truly fascinating. Within this story, I discovered a profound human aspect, how a person continues to have a sense of responsibility even after death. The father, concerned about what to feed his two children, maintained his duty to them even after passing away. So, friends, what did you think of this incident? Please let me know in the comments and subscribe to the channel if you are new.